While inflation may be showing signs of slowing, consumers still face high costs and an uncertain economic future. A recent AARP survey found 1 in 3 older adults feel financially insecure. But smart strategies can get your savings back on track. Hello, I'm Tony St. James. Welcome to this month's edition of Rural America Live with AARP. So are those credit card bills from the holidays coming due? Does your nest egg need a little more feathering? Our guests from AARP are going to take your calls and share some simple ways to save for a secure financial future. So glad you're with us tonight. Question of the month. Tell us your top tips for saving money or for spending less. By the way, AARP has a new giveaway this year, a flip-top cooler to 5 lucky on-air callers and 1 more to give away in our second chance sweepstakes. You don't need to be a member of AARP. You don't have to be 50 or older to win. But as a reminder, you can win only once each calendar year. Now, we want to let those who are winners tonight know that an AARP volunteer will call you back using the number you called from. So be extra nice, and when they give you a call, it won't be tonight, but they will call in the next few days to confirm your mailing address. If you're a past winner and you haven't received your prize yet, be sure to return their call, provide a shipping address. Best part, AARP pays all the shipping costs. And if you're not a lucky winner tonight, you can enter AARP's Second Chance Sweepstakes at aarp.org/AARP Live, or here's a better way, just scan the QR code. It's on the screen to enter. 1 cooler given away each month, with the winner announced during next month's program. Rules apply. You can win 1 time in a calendar year, and we'll announce February's second chance winner later in tonight's show. So our phone lines are open. Give us a call, 877-283-7570, and join the conversation. We're ready to take your calls tonight. All right, I want to welcome in a couple of great guys here today. And we've got the State Director for Oklahoma and AARP.
God's country.
God's country. You know, I was sitting here saying, should I say God's country or should I or not? Okay, God's country. It's Sean Voskuhl, and State Director for AARP Oklahoma. Also our special guest, Chris Farrell. God's country as well?
Frozen tundra.
Frozen tundra. He's
all going to be frozen here.
Economic journalist and author, and it's always great to have y'all here with us. You know, Sean, at the top of the show, I referenced that recent AARP survey that found 1 in 3 older adults feel financially insecure. So really, what's driving those insecurities?
Well, I think that last fall when we did that survey, it was really important to get what folks are feeling, because they know pocketbook issues are so important. We saw that during the elections. And so when we looked at that survey, the cost of living, of Social Security solvency were big issues. Having enough money to retire were really up there on the top of the list. In fact, having enough money to retire and cover large unexpected expenses really was a big concern for a lot of our members. In fact, 6 to 8% worry that they will not be able to cover a large unexpected expense. And more than half are worried about the high cost of health care, and close to half are also worried about the high cost of prescription drugs. And we know, again, as you get older, prescription drugs is a big issue, and those prices seem to come up even more. And we'll be able to talk about those a little bit later. So there is some good news.
So, again, we're going to dig a little deeper into this. Chris, you talk with a lot of folks that through your reporting, and I just wonder, what are you hearing at this point? Is it similar to what the survey found?
It just echoes what the survey found. If you think about going to the grocery store, because that comes up a lot, and the price of eggs, for example, everyone's aware of the price of eggs. But you want to buy a new car or a used car because your car is just, I mean, you've been keeping it going, but now it's that time to replace it. Again, car prices are very high, used or new. And one of the things wasn't mentioned on your list, but it comes up a lot in conversations that I've had, is the cost of housing, whether you're renting or you're buying. And a lot of people are concerned about difficulties, say, in downsizing, that kind of a thing. So housing is a big issue.
Okay. We've got so much to get into here.
Yeah.
Sean, that survey also asked folks how they're dealing with those concerns. And, you know, there's some really tough choices out there.
They're cutting back.
How do we deal with that?
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about the survey, it really dug a little deeper. So how are people coping? They're cutting back on basic expenses, groceries, transportation, cutting back on those extras for appliances or entertainment. And so they're also discontinuing expenses like for membership services. Still others really postpone those big issues, and many of them are looking at going back to work. They can't afford to retire, so they're going back to work to make additional money so they can continue to get by. So a lot of tough choices out there that people are having to look at and re-examine. Where can they save money and where can they go?
So I just wonder, is it really all gloom and doom? Are there some positive changes? Is there a silver lining, if you will?
Well, I don't know if there's a silver bullet that's going to be that big thing that it's going to save everyone tons of money. But if you're on Medicare and you have a prescription drug plan, there is a cap of $2,000 of out-of-pocket expenses. And folks who pay for prescription drug costs are really excited about it because that $2,000 cap was a long time coming. So I think we have some graphics that talk a little bit about, the donut hole that happens. So when the Part D benefit was added during George W. Bush's administration, we fought to get a prescription drug benefit in Medicare. Well, there was a donut hole. And so right in the middle of that, there's a coverage gap. So that will be filled this year. And for people that may need help spreading off the cost of that $2,000, there is a payment plan that individuals can take part in that can spread those costs. So if you have a lot of prescription drug costs in your first month or two, now you can spread out that $2,000 over the full year. So $2,000 may sound like a lot of money, but it's a huge saving for people spending tens of thousands of dollars prescription drug costs. It was a big win. Actually, it was in legislation in 2022. The Inflation Reduction Act and AARP worked really hard to fight for that, closing the coverage gap and getting out-of-pocket expenses down, where at least it's reasonable. So that's a little bit. That's some help
That is
there.
a silver lining for sure.
That's help. I mean, prescription drugs are just outpacing the cost of inflation, and any way we can ratchet that up. And remember, $35 a month insulin costs now because of that legislation. Now they're lowering the cost of insulin prices as well.
The fact that you said George W. Bush, that's 20 years.
It's been a long time.
20 years. And I know AARP has really been working on that for 20 years.
It was great it was added, but again, that coverage gap, it's taken this long to try to fill that hole.
All right, good to know. And when we come back, we'll hear more from tonight's special guest, Chris Farrell, economic journalist from the frozen tundra, on more strategies for saving money in retirement. And we want you to join the conversation. So give us a call, 877-283-7570, 877-283-7570. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Rural America Live with AARP. Feeling concerned about your financial future? You know, saving can be a challenge, especially in uncertain times. But we're sharing tips tonight to help you do just that. We want to hear from you. AARP has a new giveaway. 5 lucky on-air callers win a flip-top 8-can cooler. Give us a call. You could be a winner. 877-283-7570, 877-283-7570. 877-283-7570. Now, if you're not a lucky winner tonight, you can enter AARP Second Chance Sweepstakes, AARP.org/AARP Live, or you can do what I do, and that would just be scan the QR code on the screen to enter. One cooler given away each month, with the winner announced during next month's program. And we'll announce last month's winner a little later in the show. And guess what? I already know who won, so make sure you hang around for that. I'm here with Sean Boskell, and from AARP Oklahoma, and also economic journalist and author Chris Farrell. Okay, Chris, it's great to have you here. Thanks for hanging out with us. You know, you write frequently about economics and aging, and I know you travel as well. You talk with people about this issue. I'm just wondering, what are you hearing from those about navigating the financial uncertainty?
Well, I think part of it is echoing what you were saying earlier, Sean. A lot of people are picking up work. Maybe part-time work, gig economy work, something that has some flexibility built into it. But we do have this relatively tight labor market. A lot of businesses still looking for reliable workers, and so there's a real opportunity there. And most people they don't want an encore career or to be working 50 hours for 40 hours pay, but picking up something that they can do on the side, and you bring in some income, and that can provide just a lot of financial relief. One of the stunning things that has happened is the enormous rise in multi-generational households. People coming together, living together, bottomed out around 12% of the population back in 1980, and now about almost a quarter of the population are living in multi-generational homes where you're sharing a lot of costs. And that's the other thing that I'd emphasize a lot is you're not alone when you're dealing with these financial pressures. Think about community. Think about your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors. Maybe you get a grocery list from everybody and you go to, one of the big box store grocery stores and, you share costs that way. But think about how can you work with your community in order to both share tips, but also saving strategies by pooling your money together.
Great ideas. By the way, at that age, I'm looking for the senior savings. So, just one of those other ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump into phone calls. Phone lines are open, by the way. We're at 877-283-7570. We're going to start in Texas. Let's go Lone Star.
Oh,
okay.
I'm not going to say God's country since you already said Oklahoma, but let's go to Texas.
Maybe frozen tundra. We're going to get you.
Yes. Nick, congratulations. You're a winner. What's your question? Nick, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing tonight?
Good, sir. Good.
Great. Thanks for calling. What do you have for us?
Well, first of all, I've been in business 19 years in my restaurant, Pilot Point. I play your program all the time. The horse people love it. But we went through kind of a same deal as everyone else went through as far as paying higher prices. My grocery list obviously went up through my vendors because of milk, eggs, cream, cheese especially. So I had to make some moves, just watching my hourly employees, cutting some hours here and there. But I couldn't jeopardize or use different products because they're used to this same pizza I've been serving for 19 years. So I just had to really hunker down. So it was difficult, but I think we're going to be all right. But as far as saving, we didn't save too much. We just bared down. Just wanted to share that with you guys.
Great. Thanks for doing that. And again, congratulations, you're a winner.
And, so many businesses did that. And it's I think one of the things, whenever we're talking about savings and we're talking about money, is never underestimate the creativity of people. So here's Nick, and he kept his employees, he kept his business, but you're trimming here, you're nicking there, you're cutting an hour here, you're working with people. And so this sort of creativity that we bring to bear when we're talking about savings and spending when times are hard, or when you don't have much, or when you're in that 1/3 that you had in your survey. People are remarkably creative at coming up with solutions.
I love that, and it reminds me of the idea of faith. Just having faith as you move forward. We'd all like to have the answers, wouldn't we? And we'd like to have it easy, but at the end of the day, it's those tough times that we go through that really help us to become who we are, and a testimony that we have that we can share with others, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's go to Barb. I think Barb's in Nebraska. Barb, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, thanks for calling. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, I'm 61 years old, and I retired 2 years ago. I have my pension and my health insurance in my retirement, along with an HSA plan. And my question is, when I turn 65, will I be able to spend that HSA money on anything, or does it have to be spent on medical expenses?
Well, thank you for calling.
So it's a health savings account, and more and more people have health savings account at work, which just very briefly, you have a very high deductible plan, and then you put money into the savings account, and it's a very tax advantage plan. And I've looked at it because you can pay your Medicare premiums, but yes, it does go for qualified medical expenses. That's the basic limitation with the health savings account. It's pretty broadly defined, by the way, because a lot of things come under medical expenses. But that's what, in order to get you take the money out tax-free, it has to go for qualified expenses.
Does it end at 65, or can you keep it beyond age 65?
No, once you qualify for Social Security,
then it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
You can't be in the age.
Exactly.
One of the things people are dealing with when you work, say, with your employer until you're 70, and you've been in their HSA, you have to get out of the HSA. You can't use the savings account then.
All right.
Tax-free money to help you pay for any kind of medical expenses.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Hope we answered the question.
It's incredibly valuable, by the way.
Barb. Let's go to Pennsylvania now. Rita is on the phone. Rita, what do you have for us tonight?
It's too long. I'll just say.
Okay, you there?
Well, I wanted to see a little bit. I want to know why they tell me it's my deductible. Well, yours is the same, but they don't bill you again.
Okay, on the deductible? Well, we think we're having a hard time getting Rita. We'll see if we can reconnect with Rita. In the meantime, let's go to Kentucky and Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for calling. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, it's like I told the lady that I talked to earlier. I can get my medication through GoodRx.
Yeah.
I can pay 1 month out of my insurance, and then I can actually get 3 months for the same price with GoodRx. I think more people really need to look into that. I think you might have to have an iPhone, but it's really helped me. And then I learned through my mother that sometimes you can go to the companies and talk to them, and they will help you. You might have to go through somebody at the doctor's office, but sometimes if you're really low income, you can get help.
That's great insight. Thank you for that, Rita. Or Carolyn, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think she's right on track there. Ask for discounts, from your physician. GoodRx, there's a lot of memberships, different organizations that give discounts as well. We talked a little bit earlier tonight about some, that the donut hole and the help with limiting out-of-pocket expenses on Medicare, but also in Medicare, there's an extra help program and a Medicare savings program as well, which will help people offset premiums and co-pays. And so you probably need to talk with your in your state who handles aging services and funding, whether it's human services or we also refer calls to people at SHIP. It's called the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. You can go to shiphelp.org and they can help connect you to some of those savings you can get through the Extra Help Program and Medicare Savings Program. So if you can get some help paying for Medicare and copays, the more the merrier. If you don't qualify, you may know somebody else that will.
And, there's a bigger point here. When my dad retired at age 74, and he went to the gas station that he'd been taking his car at for 30 years, went to the local, we had an independent pharmacy, local pharmacy, and I think it was the local grocery store. And he said, I've been a good customer for 30 years. I'm now retired. What will you do for me? And every single one of them just gave him a permanent discount on his business because he kept doing business with them. And it's a broader. So if you're, it always helps to make a phone call. So if you're having difficulties with a bill, you're having difficulties paying that credit card, there's a broader issue here about get on the phone, talk to somebody, explain the situation, see if you can get a discount, see if you can get a break, see if you can get some help. Conversation really can help you save money.
All right. You mentioned the website for SHIP.
Uh-huh.
What's that website again?
Shiphelp.org. Shiphelp, one word, .org.
Because it goes under different names in different states, depending on what
That's
state.
Why we're trying to make sure that it's
so this is the one portal.
So I'm writing it down.
Shiphelp.org. But that's what's great about this show is the callers share some really cool ways to save money, and we all learn from it. So whatever shows we're doing, we always learn something from it. So thanks for sharing your cost savings ideas, and we'd like to hear more so we can pass them along.
All right, let's go to Ohio.
Yes.
That's where Kenny is. By the way, Kenny is a winner tonight. Kenny, thanks for calling. What do you have for us?
Well, I've been retired out of public service for 13 years, and I'll be turning 65 next month. And now I can draw Social Security, and I do work part-time, and I'm wondering what my limits are for Social Security, and is it going to affect what I draw or what I can draw?
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Well, I don't know the exact amount, but there is, I don't know if it's a penalty, but you will have to pay part of that money back until your full retirement age. But once you're full retirement age, you'll get all that money
you get
back.
it all back. So really, it's the word penalty is
I'm sorry, that may be a little punitive.
But it's right. You do get it back, and that's the key part here. Is it's not you haven't lost that money forever.
So in the short run, yes, he won't get as much Social Security back, but once he is full retirement age for Social Security, he gets it all back in full.
That's right.
Not quite
and he can
an
continue
investment.
working, and he can work without any
then it's just
deductions.
what your taxes are.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
By the way, happy birthday next month, Kenny. Let's go to South Dakota now. And Norman. Norman, are you there? What do you have for us?
Yes, I'm here. I got a question. What do you think of reverse mortgages?
Reverse mortgages. All right.
So I'm glad reverse mortgages exist, but they take a lot of work, they take a lot of research, and you need to be very careful with the reverse mortgage. The idea behind a reverse mortgage is it allows you to stay in your home. And then you have to pay your utility bills, your home insurance, you have to maintain all those key sort of infrastructure to the home. And that's where people sometimes get into trouble if they don't pay it. And then when you either pass away or you move, then the home is sold and it's paid off. Or there are a variety of ways, but that's essentially what's happening here. So it was designed to allow people to stay in their homes. And so there are a lot of people who are asset rich, cash poor. So that's what the reverse mortgage is designed for. The problem is even the term reverse mortgage, it's hard to wrap your mind around this. And you're required to take a little education session, but it's really not enough. So if you're going to do a reverse mortgage, you really want to research and make sure that you're comfortable with the choices that are being made, and this is the right option for you. So I would say it's wonderful that it exists. It's a product there's been a lot of abuse, but it has gotten better. The design has gotten better. The federal government has really put in some really good safeguards around reverse mortgages, but it's not something you do lightly.
Research.
This is that's always a good thing anyway, and it's a theme of life. But this is a product, and it's your home. It's the major asset of people 65 years and older. So you really have to understand the trade-offs, and is this the right approach for you? And oftentimes, your family.
There you go. If it's making sure your family aware, if
they have to be involved in this process.
You know, we have another winner on the phone line right now from the Lone Star State.
What?
Yes, Texas. Lee. Hi, Lee.
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
We're great. Thank you for calling. What do you have for us?
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, I'm a retired teacher, and we retire through the teacher retirement system, and that's where our retirement comes from. It does not come from Social Security. So I was wondering, when they say, well, there's going to be a raise in Social Security payments, when they say that from the government, will they cover everybody? Think about the other people that retire differently, that our retirement money comes from. Like a lot of teachers' retirement money comes from the retirement systems, the teacher retirement systems, and that's where in Texas where we get ours from. So I was just wondering if you think that would be covered when they say they're going to raise Social Security payments because of because of inflation.
Right. Thanks, Lee.
Those are two separate retirement funds. Social Security, obviously, they're COLAs or not a COLA.
Cost of living adjustment.
Sorry, you're right.
That's okay.
And the teacher's retirement pension system is a separate pension system, and usually your legislature can make those cost of living adjustments through legislation, or maybe your compensation board will do that for you. So that may be some advocacy opportunities that she would have in Texas to find that out. But that new law that was passed, didn't they cover some?
And actually, if I understood correctly from our previous AARP, actually opens the door for that. And so
that's right.
There's quite a few million people who will become...
Who were teachers that did not get to tap into Social Security, but then they will be able to. And, that's a big deal.
It's a really big deal. It's a really good reform.
And you can go back to AARP. There'll be information on the website there or from one of our previous AARP Lives. All right, let's go to Iowa now. I don't think we've talked to anybody from Iowa tonight, so Roy, you're it. Hi, Roy.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Yeah, I had a question. Earlier, you had a caller mention GoodRx, and I use GoodRx. I'm retired. I'm on Medicare and have a Medicare Advantage plan. And I used it just recently this week. It's for a fairly expensive prescription, like $380, and GoodRx brought it down to like $250. But I was told, by the pharmacist, this is not insurance, and this will not apply toward your copay. So my question is, that money that you say, or if you use GoodRx, does that not apply towards the $2,000 cap on pharmaceuticals for seniors?
Thanks for the call.
I don't believe so.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think the pharmacist told you right. That's a separate discount, and out of pocket it would be through your Part D plan or your Medicare Advantage plan. So that would have to be costs that are ran through your prescription drug or Medicare Advantage plan. Sorry about that, but yeah, that'd be hard to track if you didn't.
We're talking about ways of saving money. Is there ways of finding money? Maybe money we've invested in the past?
treasure at the end of the rainbow.
Yes. Does it exist?
I've been searching for it.
It could be. What's really helpful is for people to understand that there's a way to find any kind of lost insurance policies that are out there. I know that our state insurance commissioners work with their national association, and they've got a portal that's a life insurance policy locator. So, you may have family members who are older. You may have lost track of a whole life insurance plan you got when you're in your 20s. But you may look at that portal just to double check for you and your family. And also every state has an unclaimed property fund that's maybe administered a little differently. In Oklahoma, it's through the state treasurer's office. And then usually those are deposits that come back, or some, it could be any kind of rewards or money that's held back in an escrow, for instance. But it would behoove you to go and look at your state treasurer's unclaimed property.
It's also kind of fun to do anyway.
Because you want to know, is your neighbor getting someone got some money? Who's getting it? Is it my relative? Yeah. And so, those are a couple things that are easy to do to check that, could yield you some results. And I always hear some great stories, but unfortunately, I don't know if I've found any. But
and one of the things that in today's world with the 401k, the 403b, people changing jobs, maybe only work for a place for a little while, it's got a little bit of money there, and just in the busyness of life, you just kind of forget about it. And that's where a lot of these little 401k, 403b plans, they sort of are forgotten. They're in the distance. And so you want to look for those because it's money.
All right, speaking of looking, we need to look for some callers from Oklahoma. Texas is outdoing you tonight. Beverly is from Texas, and she's on the line.
It's 3-0.
Hi, Beverly.
Hi there.
Thank you for calling. Yes, what do you have for us tonight?
There was a previous person asked about if they retired early, did they lose that? And y'all said that they could get it back later. My question: I did retire early, or took my Social Security early. Do we have to go back to Social Security and refile for that?
I think, you would definitely go to your local Social Security office and make them aware, and be in contact with them for sure. I don't remember what the earning limits are. I know it changes from year to year. I'll have insurance, some folks from Social Security office in our office, and we do a telephone town hall, but I don't remember what the earnings limit is. But you would definitely want to communicate with your local Social Security office and make them aware of that once you turn 65. Or your retirement age at Social Security. Could be later than 65.
All right, Sean, let's go some new rules here.
Okay.
I know that.
I thought we were going to Jeopardy.
Yes, for 500. Sean.
He got me nervous.
New rules. Not double Jeopardy, though, so. There are some new rules, though, out there. What can you tell us?
And I think Chris has got some good insight to this, too, but Secure 2.0, and I think we have some graphics on that it's a new law that, and new for 2025 is for new employers that offer a 401k or a 403b retirement plan, they will be able to automatically enroll their employees from a 3 to 10% that would be directed out of their paychecks. But also employees can opt out. But research shows that people are 20 times more likely to save if they have a retirement plan that's offered to them in the workplace and that have those contributions automatically deducted from their paychecks. So that's a real important for folks realizing we're at the day and time. There's not any pensions that are out there. So these 401ks and IRAs and 403bs are options for people to save for the retirement.
Great ideas there. Again, when you have retirement plans, we have some that don't have retirement plans, and we can dig into that in just a moment. Let's go back to the phone lines. We have Cliff. Cliff's calling us from California. Hi, Cliff.
Right. That's correct. Hey, gentlemen, how are you today?
We're great. Thank you for calling.
So I am approaching the age of retirement next year, and I'm really curious, as I'm really planning to figure out when is the best time to retire. Should I do it right at 65? Should I wait several years? How do you figure out what the optimal time is to get the best value from your retirement plan?
This is a really great question. It's a really fascinating question, and there are dissertations that have been written on this very topic. Because Social Security is immensely complicated in its own way. So the way I like to think about it is, let's frame this question. You get your maximum benefit if you file at age 70. There's no reason to wait past age 70. So you get your maximum benefit if you file at age 70, and you can file all the way down to as early as age 62. And then you analyze your situation and do you like your job? Do you enjoy working? Then you should probably continue working and delay taking Social Security and start at age 70. But perhaps you have some health issues, you're taking care of aging parents, maybe you can't be working right now because you're taking care of them. You need that money. And so you file earlier for Social Security. So I don't think there's and one of the reasons why there is this flexibility here, one size does not fit all. For many people, age 70 is unrealistic. They can't get to age 70. It doesn't make sense for them to do it. But for those who can, it's a wonderful benefit. It really is, and that's your maximum benefit. But you have the ability to file earlier depending on your financial circumstances and when it makes sense for you to file.
You said something just a moment ago which caused me to write down caregivers here. I want us to pick that up in just a moment, but before we do, how about to Virginia, and that's where Earl is. Earl, thanks for calling. What do you have for us tonight?
Hey guys, just wanted to make a suggestion for. I'm a Vietnam era vet, and over the past couple of decades, years, I've come across so many veterans that are just not taking advantage of the services that the VA provides, such as, prescription meds, eyeglasses, hearing aids, and on and on and on. Now, these are major expenses that as we age, we need to be taken advantage of because we have earned it because we served our nation. So my suggestion would be veterans, take advantage of it. Don't be intimidated by rumors that you might hear that you're not eligible. Just apply for it. That's it.
I think Sean and I are just both. Yeah. Earl is just spot on. That's great. And yes, those benefits are there.
Thank him for his service. And there's a lot of great veteran service organizations that help veterans get connected to all the benefits that are available to them. And so I'm glad he brought that up.
Yeah, that's really important.
Don't leave it on the table.
You earned it.
Okay, I mentioned caregivers earlier. Caregivers have some unique challenges. Would you agree?
They do. I mean, when you think about the role of the unpaid family caregiver, there's about 48 million of those individuals. Many of us are in this room, or we have been a caregiver, will be one. And, they provide about $10 billion of uncompensated care every year. And so we know that they spend about $7,200 per year out-of-pocket expenses. It could be someone caring for their parents, loved one. And so we're really talking about the unpaid family caregivers. So we're advocating for a federal caregiver tax credit called Credit for Caring Act. It's been introduced in Congress several years. I believe it's getting ready to get introduced really soon. And that would provide up to a $5,000 credit that would help offset any caregiving expenses you incur, whether it's transportation, helping offset some home modifications, or paying for home care, anything that's attributable, that can be attributed to caregiving expenses. So we're working with Congress really hard to get that extra help. The good news is we passed that in Oklahoma 2 years ago, and Nebraska also passed it last year. And so right now we're doing outreach in our states for a state income tax credit. So now we want to go nationwide and push for a federal caregiver tax credit. And we know people need it because not only people are struggling financially being that caregiver, sometimes during that sandwich generation, older parents, younger kids, that caregiver may have to reduce their hours or lose benefits. So it's a tremendous financial hardship and an emotional hardship for family caregivers. And we've got to find a way to help them and offset these costs because they keep them out of nursing homes and they're doing a labor of love. We call them that silent, unsung heroes. They're providing that care every day.
Yeah, and it's incredibly important because there is a lot of activity going on in the state level, less on the federal level, but more paralysis there. So it'd be great to see if that did become law. But in the meantime, I think one of the things really important is for parents and their adult children. And by the way, many of these caregivers are in their 20s and 30s, and so they're being told to save for your retirement, but at the same time, they're working, they're trying to raise their own kids, and they're taking care of aging parents. And it's really hard to put that money aside, is to have a conversation that the aging parents need to talk to their kids, and their kids need to talk to their aging parents so that they're on the same page. What are our expectations? What can we do? What are your desires? What are your wishes? And what is surprising is how few families have that conversation with their aging parents, with their aging relatives. And yet I think you can't solve every problem, but you can solve so many problems because what happens is a lot of times caregiving emerges during an emergency. It's an abrupt shift in life. And all of a sudden you're trying to make decisions and you have that pressure and you don't really know what to do and what does mom and dad want. And so if you have those conversations, you can plan, and there are so many state and local resources that are available to you, but most of us don't know what they are. And you can't just go online and say, well, what are the resources? It actually takes a lot of research, takes a lot of work to figure them out, but they're there and you pay taxes for them. And when you need them, you should take full advantage of them.
If we could automate some things, that would be awesome too. So we're going to hold on to that thought and we'll come back in a moment. And when we do, we'll talk about maybe some ways you can automate your savings. So we have to take a break. We'll also, when we come back, announce our second chance winner from January. Join the conversation. Our phone lines are open right now. Has your state been recognized yet? If not, give us a call. 877-283-7570. We'll have another cooler to give away as well. Welcome back. We still have a cooler to give away, and we'll get right to the phones. But as promised, I want to announce our second chance winner for February. From Red Lion, Pennsylvania, congratulations, Josie B. Yep, Josie, congratulations. Since you provided your information when you scanned the QR code, your cooler is probably on the way. All right, we can take more phone calls right now. We still have a cooler to give away. Love to give it to you. 877-283-7570, 877-283-7570.
That's a cost savings right there. Getting that
right
cooler.
There. By the way, I talked to somebody the other day,
and those in the store lately. That's a good cost savings.
They mentioned
that cooler,
the watts number. And I thought, I haven't thought of a watts number in forever. Much like a fax machine. I haven't used a fax machine in quite a while. But we can automate a lot of things these days, and I just wonder, is there a way for us to automate some savings?
I think it's an important thing to do. And if you think about, if you work at a company that has a 401k or has a 403b, once you sign up or you're automatic now, in many companies now you're automatically signed up, the money just comes out of your paycheck. You don't do anything. It just comes out of your paycheck, goes in retirement savings. Well, you can kind of do the same thing. And one of the advantages, if you just think about what is savings is a habit. So one way to help you create a habit of savings is you go to your bank, your credit union, and they'll all do it for you. And you say, take $25, $50 out of my checking account and put it into my savings account. And then it just happens. And then the only thing you have to do is maybe you get a raise, maybe get a little more money. Go ahead, increase the amount if you can. But if you think about it, you've automated how you pay for it, how you save. And therefore, you can go on and be busy and life can take over, which is what happens all the time. And you're still saving on the side here. And at first, not much. But as we all know, the power of compound interest, savings over time. And that's why I always want to talk about savings as a habit. And if you technology can help you with that habit, why not?
You know, I'm a big fan of paper books or hardback books. I like to smell them. You can't. I guess you could smell a Kindle, but it's not the same.
No. You don't eat glue too, do you?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do that a little bit too. But the idea behind that is I like things the old-fashioned way. I like a bill sent to me. I like to write a check. Yeah. But I found a little opportunity the other day through a cell provider that if I automate my payments, they'll give me a $20 per month discount. Can you take that $20 then, and now you're starting your savings?
Right, and this is why, I guess I have to bring it up, a budget. Mm-hmm. And, all a budget is just the money that's coming in, the money's going out, and if you have a budget and you see that you are saving your $20 and you're able to just say, hey, this money can now go into my savings. And the other advantage of a budget is, we're going through, even in a relatively healthy job market, there are always layoffs going on. Layoffs are happening all the time. Their Challenger Gray Christmas came out with a calculation, and I think it was there was something like almost 50,000 jobs were lost in the private sector last month. And so it's always happening. So if you think that you're you might be, and usually you can kind of get a feel. If you have a budget, you can go there and say, hey, you know what? Here's where I can make my cutbacks. Here's where I can save on my expenses. So whenever you're having that conversation about savings, you do want to create a budget, and then it's something that's a really valuable blueprint for making decisions in the future.
Okay, let's go from that to, because utilities. That's another one that can kind of sneak up and just bite us if we're not careful. Are there some ideas behind utilities?
I think every state, and maybe, whatever your provider, whether it's electric co-op or an investor-owned utility, they may have some low-income programs or senior help programs that give some discounts off your utility bills. But, nationally, there's the LIHEAP program that stands, I believe, for Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. Yeah. And I would encourage folks to be aware, whether it's your Department of Human Services that administers that, but that would be a good way to get some help financially to help pay for those utility bills, because, I know in our state, we're seeing rate increase after rate increase, and so that's one aspect of it. But also maybe take advantage of any weatherization projects that are out there as well, whether you're a community action agency or maybe your utility as well.
Utilities often will
offer those. Yeah. Just kind of depends where you're at.
Exactly.
But again, extra weather stripping, extra insulation, some things like that can help lower your utility bills. So not only look for programs that help offset your costs, but let's look at some preventive things you can do with taking advantage of programs that would help your home adjust and be home fitted for cost savings through weatherization.
I think earlier we had mentioned, maybe it was before we came on the air, just the price of groceries as well. I mean, the price we're looking at eggs or, proteins as well. So if you've got an idea of how maybe you're saving money through groceries, maybe you could give us a call and give us some insight on that. 877-283-7570. And guess what? We've got a winner on the phone right now from the great state of Alabama. Hi, Barb.
Hi.
Hey, thank you for calling. What do you have for us tonight?
I've used the technique before of taking like the minimum amount due on a credit card, splitting it in half, and paying 2 separate payments in the month. It cuts down on the amount of interest you end up paying. And I want to know if you can do that with a mortgage and or a car loan.
Great question. Thanks, Barb. And again, congratulations. You're a winner.
I know you can do it with a mortgage. I would assume you could do it with a car loan. You might know. But with a mortgage, it's a very classic technique. It's a way of paying off your mortgage quicker, having lower interest rates and that discipline. And there, the only thing that I would say, there burns in the heart of every homeowner that desire to get rid of that mortgage. And it's a real desire, and it's a good thing. And I do think it's very healthy if people go into the retirement years without a mortgage. But what you don't want to do is put all your savings into this one asset. Make sure that before you do these various techniques that to shorten the life of your mortgage, that you have some emergency savings, that you have savings going into retirement. And then you're taking some of your extra money and you're putting it toward paying down that mortgage quicker, and that's wonderful. But you want that emergency savings and you want that retirement savings.
And ideally, if you can automate it, even better, right?
Even better, yep.
Okay, one kind of quick thought here on when it comes to groceries. I mean, we've kind of thrown that out. Any ideas on groceries at all? Is there anything out there that can be helpful?
Well, the only thing I can think, one is I think never underestimate the creativity of the American shopper when they go to the grocery store. People move remarkably fast going from beef, when prices are high and chicken's low or whatever. People do adjust really fast. But I do think one of the things I've had a lot of conversations with people, and it's merging their grocery lists. And so buying more in bulk, going to places where lower cost places, bigger discount places. So people really have adjusted fast. And you talk to a lot of companies that are in the business. They really recognize that the consumer is not paying top dollar. The consumer is very value conscious, and they're having to adjust now in their pricing strategies.
All right. Final thoughts now. Chris, we'll start with you.
So final thought. So we're talking about savings. And again, I would just emphasize, automate as much as possible. And remember, time is your friend. Over time, those small savings that you eke out, they really do add up to a lot of money.
Great point. All right. Final thoughts, Sean?
We talked a lot about tonight Social Security and retirement and what to do. AARP has some excellent resources. We've got a AARP, we've got a Social Security calculator and retirement calculator. And so you can visit AARP.org/money and get them. And remember, we offer a tax aid preparation service at AARP that's free to low-income seniors. Check it out at AARP.org/taxaid if you need assistance with preparing your taxes for 2025.
Okay, I'm writing the address again, AARP.org/taxaid. Tax aid. Okay.
There's some cost savings there.
I'm doing a lot here, a lot of writing. Hey, speaking of which, last month we were here
You're not
on...
You're not going to have me back, are you?
Probably not. Last month here on a holiday. It's another holiday, President's Day. Come back and join us next month. It's another holiday when we're here. Next month, March 17th, we stick with the money theme to take your calls and questions about wills and trust and estate planning. See you here on St. Patrick's Day.